Tiger Video Productions.
I'm Lloyd, LaCuesta for Positively Filipino, and I'm at the offices of a man who's made a fortune in Silicon Valley, but he's never forgotten his roots. Join me now for a chat with Dado Banatao. How are you positively Filipino?
My color, my heart.
Let me talk about some of, first of all, your accomplishments. I mean, we can run the list there. Here we have someone people refer to as a Silicon Valley visionary, an engineer, an entrepreneur, a venture capitalist, and now a philanthropist. And I have, just about every interview that I see with you, they refer to you as the Filipino Bill Gates.
I'm just a farm boy. Those terms, I've clearly heard all of those. And you're right. The most common, especially when I am in Manila or the Philippines in general, when they introduce me, they usually call me that, the Bill Gates of the Philippines. That is unfair to Bill Gates, frankly. Because the guy has done much more impact to the entire industry than I have.
But you're being really sort of humble here, because as I understand that there's a number of laptop computers out there in the world today that are there because of your technology.
The enjoyment that I get out of those innovations is more of an engineering satisfaction, and that is, there is no better satisfaction for an engineer than see their work being used by every person, possibly every person. That's enough for me. I know that when you use your PC, you're using it with some of my innovations. The result, of course, could be financial, which in my case, yes, I'm happy with what I have. I'm not looking for any more. So, as I said, it's time to, people give back when they think they have enough. I am still tied to my roots. I always mention my family because everyone knows where I come from a farming town and farming family. That never goes away. Now, I then look at myself and say, all right, where am I? I've done enough. So the urge to give back, therefore, is there. I can afford to give back. Looking at what it takes for the Philippines to get to the next stage economically, I can leverage a lot of the knowledge that I have gained in Silicon Valley, especially in high technology. And that is really what is needed now. So it's not only financial, therefore, it is also the knowledge that myself and now our foundation called PhilDev, that's what we are leveraging for the Philippines. The very beginning thesis of PhilDev is we need to discover those natural scientists and engineers in the Philippines. If we really want to develop the foundation, we want to discover those brilliant ones. I'm not brilliant, I just happen to be able to do it, but there are a lot of kids that are not discovered simply because they are poor. And so how do we do that? I think our responsibility at PhilDev is to start the process from there and then nurture them all the way as far as they want to go.
Do you sort of remake the educational system in a way in the Philippines? Do you create an incubator to find these children and develop them?
If we use the word remaking, for now, the remaking starts with the production or generating more experts. So the programs that we are working with the government on has to do with capacity building, more scientists, more engineers in higher level education, meaning masters and PhDs. And now we're introducing the idea of research institutes, where these bright minds can now further go into research, because it is only through the practice of research where technologies are developed. There is another project that we are working with the government on right now And now this is not just research, this is research and development. So with a little bit of help from Silicon Valley, we are creating this infrastructure for communications and computing for the Department of Education. And the goal is to link the entire country's elementary schools and high schools with a computing capability to where the kids can learn through this kind of tool.
As I understand it, some $250 million has been allocated by the government for what you are talking about. And some would say, you know, that's a lot of money for a country that has poverty in the Philippines. Can they afford to do this?
The helping that we're giving, as expensive as it is, there's no other way, because it is a huge problem. There is not enough wealth by all Filipinos combined to keep giving in a charitable way and move the economy. If we don't do something now here, it would be almost impossible, I would say, to affect poverty.
Dado, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. And, you know, based on your track record, I think Filipino Americans, Filipinos around the world can only be optimistic about what you hope for. And I thank you for being positively Filipino.
You're welcome.